How you doing, Communication Center? Today the topic of my speech is that a persuasive speech. The general purpose is to persuade. The specific purpose of my speech is that I would persuade my audience to work towards finding ways to get the U.S. government to implement my policy. Imagine walking into a store and you walk into the electronics section, and when looking at the products, a consumer reads "Made in the USA," our homeland, as on a majority of the products, instead of China, Korea, Japan. If you support my policy, instead of becoming a figment of your imagination, this could become fact. It is important to change the status quo, I believe, because this is something that could not only affect the society and you yourself, but our entire nation as a whole, specifically looking at the economic factors that are involved. I am credible to speak on this topic because I have done extensive research, getting information from several sources such as web documents, web articles, newspapers, blogs, etc. The thesis of my speech is that the U.S. should require all public schools to implement a vocational program. First, today I will be discussing the problems arising from not implementing this policy. Second, I will move on to discuss the solutions that we could put in place in order to get this policy implemented. Furthermore, now I move on to discussing the main points. The first main point I'll be discussing is the problems. The first problem is we have a lack of highly qualified laborers in industries such as textiles, manufacturing, and electronics. According to www.forbes.com, for the last 3 years, the hardest segment of workforce for employers to staff has been those with skilled trades such as welders, electricians, and machinists, all important to manufacturing and construction. Also, according to www.kurzweiler.net, China now has a far larger supply of qualified engineers than the U.S. They have bigger factories and faster production. In addition, the U.S. has stopped training enough people with skilled trades that factories need. The second problem I would like to address is the struggling economic recovery that's going on in this nation currently. According to www.useconomy.about.com, the U.S. spends a crazy $548 billion a year on import of capital goods. Majority of these capital goods being electronic items such as computers, computer accessories, and telecommunication devices. Also, according to www.wisegeek.com, outsourcing, which is giving these jobs to countries outside the U.S., has led to many job losses in the U.S. No work means no spending money, no purchase of homes, and no profit to companies. In addition, www.washingtonpost.com has stated that this job loss is creating a long-term structural employment in the U.S., even hollowing out entire industries so that the entire business has gone down. I move on now to the second main point, which is the solutions I offer to getting my policy implemented. The first solution for my audience would be that I want them to form groups that aim to recruit many more people with the same ideas and beliefs. The reason I say this is that to create a large change, you need a large amount of people wanting the same thing. Also, the group could go about recruiting by social media apps. Social media apps are everywhere today. They have a huge influence on society. They attract lots of attention, and it's a very fast and efficient way to spread a message. The second solution I offer would be to make our state representative aware of this high priority, so that they can move on to address it to the federal government, which would be required in any nationwide decision. They could do this by having my audience here write letters over and over continuously to our state representative, demonstrating a high priority of the people that must be taken to the federal government. The second way they could do this is that the group could create a nationwide web blog that would allow people all over the country to contribute to. After getting enough people, the group would take this information from the blog directly to state representative offices and government officials, forcing them to become aware of this problem. I move on now to the conclusion of my speech. Today, I first discussed the problems associated with not implementing my policy. Second, I offered solutions to getting my policy in place. I'd like to leave you with a final thought that this policy could not only affect you, but affect the future generations of this country to come. Thank you.